Hey everybody, I'm Josh from J&J Tabletop, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Ancient Relics and Hokey Religions. Oh man, I'm excited to be here. It's gonna be a fun time. Gonna be all sorts of fun things going on tonight. Mainly D&D. That's the fun thing. Spoiler. Sorry. But today we have a wonderful group of people, and I would like all of those wonderful people to just introduce themselves, please. And we'll start off with the person who it says J&J Tabletop under her name on the bottom left of our screens here.
Hi, I'm Izzee. I play Melly. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Does Melly have a favorite color?
Yes.
It's
perfect. It's do you want to know what it is, or just want to know that she's got one?
I mean, I'm happy knowing she's got one, but I'm pretty sure the viewers would like to know what it is.
So it's like that pearlescent white that you find inside of seashells.
I love that, and that's a very specific color. I think that makes a lot of sense where she came from.
Mm-hmm.
Who should go next?
Is that me?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. How about Michael?
I'm Michael, also known as Yoda. I play Mac, and I'm ready for this week's session. I'm just ready to go. And I can send it on up to Jake unless they wanted to know Mac's favorite color, but he holds that deeply.
Maybe everybody should tell their character's favorite color then.
It's burnt sienna. Is his favorite color.
I like that. My name's Jake. I play Vale, the elven fighter / warlock. He is a multi-class, and I like to think of him as someone who's a really nice guy with a heart of gold, but he's starting to dip into some dark magic. Is he gonna do good things with it? I don't know. So because of that, I'd say his favorite color, he's probably in a bit of a goth mood, so it's black. Why not? No. And then Evan, I guess it's your turn.
Hi, I'm Evan. I'm aka Evbo. You can see I've got my Twitch right there. It's Evbo and everything. But I play Echo, the halfling monk, who is just a cutie little man. I love him with all my heart. I love that boy. And his favorite color is it's purple.
Very nice.
He's a cutie little man. I like.
He is a cutie little man. This is a perfect description of him.
It's great. Little baby face now. Does he have the stubble coming in from his sideburns now?
It's
only been like a day.
What, a day? Yeah, it's
been
like
about a day.
stubble.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Very nice. Very nice. And I, of course, am everyone else in this game. I'm Josh, the real Josh T, but you can find me there, but I'd prefer if you found me at J&J Tabletop, because J&J Tabletop is a little thing that Jake and I do, where pretty much we just try to help you get the most out of your games. That's, we were talking this week and Jake said that, and I was like, wow, that's a pretty good description. That kind of sums it up.
Nice to say it in one sentence.
So announcements this week. I see that somebody has a birthday.
Oh yeah.
Who's
So
not
there's
on screen?
A rare drop figure whose birthday it be.
Wow. Yeah. Everybody, Kevin's birthday is this week, and he's if you want to know how old he is, the answer is just it's old. He's old now. You can tell him.
He reached it.
Tell him that Jay and Jake told you to tell him that he's old now officially.
Yep. Everybody tweet at him, say happy birthday, and then tag me And I said to say he's old.
Yeah.
I think that checks out. Spam his Twitter. At Kevin X Vision. There you go.
Perfect. Now, for real, I mean, if you're here, you probably already know, but if for whatever reason you don't know, Kevin's a really awesome dude. Rare Drop is obviously something that he does and he's super passionate about, and that's why we're happy to help out here and do what we do. So, aside from that, Rare Drop, we're talking about Rare Drop. What is Rare Drop? Rare Drop is, I have no idea what Rare Drop is. Somebody explain to me what Rare Drop is, please. I don't know. I have no idea. It's like a production thing. They do like podcasts, they do this stuff, they do all sorts of fun things, you know? If you want to see all the fun things that they do, just go to raredrop.co and you'll be able to find all of it. Rare Drop
I think it's
Roleplay.
safe to say it's quality entertainment.
Agreed.
Dang, we got these one-liners. I like it.
Man, pretty soon these intros are just gonna be, it's gonna be like 30 seconds. It's gonna be like, what's J&J Tabletop? Well, here's 4 words. What's Rare Drop? Quality entertainment, 2 words. That's it.
Prestige worldwide.
Oh man. This is specifically what we're doing here is Rare Drop Roleplay. It's essentially just Rare Drop getting into the tabletop RPG world. So they asked you boys at J&J Tabletop and your girl to get on board and do some fun stuff, and that's how we got Ancient Relics and Hokey Religions. There is a second game for Rare Drop Roleplay. It's called Reckoning Hour. They actually just finished their campaign, but I'd stay tuned because I'm sure there's something else coming soon. And if you want to catch up on old episodes, well, right now they are available on podcasts wherever you could find out. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find them on podcasts. So listen to them. And also, from what I think I've been calling the mid-season finale, from the mid-season finale of our show, from there on, it's available on YouTube. So check that out too. J&J Tabletop, like I said, is Jake and I just trying to help you make the most out of your games. And if you want to make the most out of your games, go to youtube.com/J&J Tabletop, where we have new videos every single week, sometimes more than one a week. And Mr. Jake, what video did we do last week?
So this last week we released a video about. There's a lot of videos about like how dungeon masters prepare for adventures and things like that. Because let's face it, the lion's share of the prep and let's say out of in-game work does fall on the DM. But we talked about how important it is for a player to prepare for an adventure, a couple of quick tips on how to do that, and then just how integral of a thing that can be. So I'm going to run that. Actually, that could be the lesson today too, is just how player prep really can affect the game. You know, we do a nice fun cold open, so I really would suggest to go check that video out. And while you're there, just hit that subscribe button. But if a player is discussing what they'd like to do with the rest of the group beforehand, that's going to have a tremendous trickle-down effect on how well things can go, right? So they can tell the DM, listen, we're going to try and do such and such. And now instead of the DM trying to guess at how that's going to go, the Dungeon Master now can focus their prep in a direction that's going to be really efficient, both for their time and in order to make just a better quality product that all the players can enjoy. Sorry, there is a very loud something that was out there. If you heard that, I apologize. But yeah, that's going to be a really important thing for players to do, because it can help keep Dungeon Masters fresh, knowing that their effort is not going to be wasted. It's going to be useful. And then that actually just contributes to the entire health of the game. You know, if your goal is to present something that's player driven, well, if the DM knows what you're trying to do, you're still running the show as players, but at the same sense, you're getting a better product. It's just kind of like a snowball effect, and that's really the crux of the video. So I would encourage you to watch that and get a little more detail in there. I don't want to give away all of our secrets, but it's kind of a big deal.
Does anyone have like a thing that you do to prepare for the game? Like, not to put you on the spot. If you don't have to answer that, but like, if you do, I'm just curious. It's totally fine to not have them.
I go in front of a mirror and I tell myself that I'm a good boy, but I do it like energetically and like really excitedly.
I mean, I'll listen back.
There was.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, but no, you can go ahead.
Okay. No, in our case, we're lucky because our stuff is all like recorded and available online. So I'll usually review my notes, a day or two ahead of time, and in the event that I'm able to, I'll listen through the the podcast version on like 1.5 speed, which is very funny to listen to. But just to like get a reminder of what it was that we were doing, or if there's something I wasn't unsure about, go back and look. But I also take much better notes in other, on other campaigns because they're not recorded. So I would say just, reviewing your own notes, confirming like these are like all of the facts that I have and what I could use going forward, I think is super important.
Very nice.
I'll tell you, I mean, it depends on what happened the previous week, but I know that like over the last 7 sessions or so, not the last couple, but the previous ones before that, Mac was dealing with some really heavy stuff. So like each week I kind of had to like remind myself and think about those emotions, especially like I would almost like prepare just a little bit an hour before the session just to kind of like get into that mindset just a little bit and remind myself as to, like think about a few of the things that, that why he felt that way, just to kind of get it fresh. So that way it was a little easier to, properly present him.
I'm glad that you didn't say that you're a method actor, so you go out and kill people and then just to get in the zone.
Can you imagine? Florida man. ...
Oh man, that's great though. I like that a lot. Does anyone else have anything you want to add, or we're all good? I'm gonna give it 5 seconds. Okay, sounds like we're all good. Thank you, because that's cool, and I don't really think either of those were in the video, so it's always nice to hear a different perspective, and that's why I like talking about these things before we start. Nia also says that also to get ready for the game you wear kid clothes and buy huge lollipops.
Yes.
Right. I went to Target yesterday and I found in like their dollar section there is a little tiny, I should have bought it, I don't know why I didn't buy it, there's like a little tiny rubber duck wearing a sailor outfit, but the eyes for whatever reason looked like angry, and I was just like, wow, this is Echo. This is exactly what Echo looked like in that game, except
Still dead behind the eyes through that whole time. Like, I would kill anyone. Good God.
Oh man. I'm super tired today, so I was just drinking coffee. I'm drinking coffee right now, and it's incredible, honestly. Like, Brutus coffee. Do some incredible things. If you're a coffee person, you should be drinking coffee from all over the place. I don't even know. I know I went to King's Coast 3 times in the past, 4 days. Jake beat me, I think. How many times did you go to King's Coast in the past few days?
Well, okay, so I'm out of town, which is why I have a whole different thing going on. But it's a nice quiet place to work, so I was there Monday through Friday. Get a cup of coffee, set up the laptop, remote in, do my deal. So yeah, I was there every day this week. But yeah, do the thing. KingsCoastCoffee.com.
Yep. And then I was at Druthers yesterday. I've consumed a lot of coffee in the past 7 days. I'm not mad about it. Anyway, I think that's everything. So let's do a little recap. So last week, on ancient relics and Hokey religions. Our players got ready to chase down a dragon. They each kind of did their individual prep and whatever they needed to do to get themselves ready to go. And they woke up in the morning. They made some obscure jokes about a TV show called Community because they got together at daybreak. And they continued on their way into the mountains. And in the first day, it started off with some nice weather, but it started to get progressively worse as the day went on. Suddenly, they were face to face, vis-a-vis, with a bunch of dire wolves, and then a winter wolf. So, fighting their way through this pack, Melly took the brunt of the damage, honestly, and they were able to kill this thing. All of them dealing insane damage to everything. Mac with the sneak attacks, Vale with the crits on 19s, and Echo smacking the crap out of everything, and Melly keeping everybody booned and buffed and ready to survive. It was pretty nice battle. There was some shock and awe that went on, and they killed the things, and a wolf or two escaped. And instead of healing herself, Melly said, "Does anyone else need healing? Is everyone okay?" And then I think she did heal herself a little bit, and as the weather started to get real bad, talking whiteout conditions, and man, my friends, if you live in a place where you've never seen snow, or you've never seen a whiteout, like, whiteout's pretty bad. It's exactly what it sounds like. A lot of wind, a lot of snow, and you could only see a few feet out in front of you because that's how bad it is. So as they made their way trying to find shelter, Isla helped them find a cave. They went in this cave, Mac and Carrick both suffering from exhaustion from the severe cold. And Isla went deeper into the cave to explore, to see if she could find anything. Suddenly, Vale was notified with a that Isla heard. And we'll pick up right there.
I think the very first thing Vale would kind of, just like we say, kind of ward into Isla's vision and hearing to make sure he could see or hear what's going on. And if anyone's looking at him, his attention, like if he was like looking at his pack, like he just like immediately stood up and quickly was looking in the direction that Isla was there. What does he see?
So as Vale looks through Isla's eyes, right now you just see cave. You see that there's a bend. And you also hear what she hears, right?
I do, yes.
So there's some sort of growling noise coming from beyond the bend, deeper into this cave.
Okay. I think Vale would just tell Isla to let him know if he sees anything. And then he would go back to his own vision. He would look at everybody and be like, "Shh, something's here." And he would take out his bow and an arrow, and he would just start like strafing over to where that is.
Okay, so you're trying to go like deeper into this cave and find out what this thing is, and
Yeah. I mean, trying to be
Okay.
quiet and cautious, but he just immediately heads in that direction.
Okay. What does everyone else do?
I feel like the minute that Mac sees him start to do that, Mac would kind of pop back up and start following him.
Before everyone got out of range, Melly would blossom because I mean I guess like see I don't know because it doesn't last for that long, but she would try and stick together with everybody, and then when it seemed like they were getting kind of deeper in, she would let that go. So she's got that prepared.
Very
Echo
nice.
follows suit as well, pulls out his staff, and would probably make a point to interpose between, to put himself in front of Melly.
How's Melly looking?
Definitely worn down. Exhausted, but she's trying to not look exhausted.
So she's
when I
trying
say-
to.
Yeah.
She's trying to act like she is better than she actually is.
Yeah.
Why don't you roll me a deception check?
All right. Let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, that was pretty good. 24.
24?
Yep.
Alright. So Carrick following closely behind, also with his bow and an arrow out. He's kind of like looking up, looking around, and he looks over at Miss Melly. And let's see. His insight is a +5. And that is a 19. So he got a 24.
Did you roll with disadvantage?
Oh, he didn't roll with
Because
disadvantage.
Fair.
me and him both have exhaustion. Level 1.
That is an 18, which is a 23. So
Oh, wow.
almost.
Oh,
Good
for a
reminder.
minute. Must have been the wind.
As you're walking that way, he'll just kind of look to Melly, and just say, "You got hit pretty hard back there. Are you sure you're all right?"
For now, I am. But I was looking forward to the rest.
He will say, as was I, but hopefully this will help for now. And he will do level 2 healing word on you. And you will get 10, 12 hit points back.
What a nice man.
As we continue on through the cave, and the cave went in like kind of deep, not like crazy deep, like you're not like exploring the Underdark like you were, but Isla was going in, and there's some curves and turns and pretty soon you get to the point where you see Isla. It's kind of dark, actually. So those that don't have dark vision would be, I mean, they would be seriously struggling to see in this.
Have we heard anything as we're going? Like our group, have we heard anything? Or has Mac heard anything, I guess?
Is everyone trying to be sneaky?
I know Vale would be.
If Vale was trying to be sneaky, then Mac would follow suit.
So let's have everybody roll stealth. And Mac, as you reminded me before, be sure to roll with disadvantage.
Got a dirty 20 for Vale.
It's a natural 1 for Carrick.
With disadvantage, it's a 24 for Mac.
Rogues. Great.
Oh, man.
Natural 20 for a 27 for Echo.
Would have been a 26 for Carrick, but it's a natural 1.
Melly got a 5.
So, for fun's sake, right? Previously, we have done like the majority rules, right? For stealth checks. I think for this one, we'll have a little fun and say that Carrick and Melly both made a little bit too much noise, and while you guys feel like you're doing a pretty good job, you hear like as like rocks. Hopefully you heard that as some rocks kind of get kicked around behind you, and at the sound of that, there's a deep, low coming from beyond, just around the next curve, it sounds like.
So at that moment, I think Vale would kind of just stop. And he takes a quick look at Mac and Echo. Like, do they look like they're really, I imagine they look like they're really struggling to see, right? All right,
Yes.
so Vale would take out the fire ruby. I feel like that almost makes it look like a dark room. So at least they can kind of see, especially since he heard the noise that his brother and Melly made. And he hands it over to Mac if he wants to hold it. And he just whispers, "Do you think you could talk to that thing?"
I can try. And at that point, I do honestly, as soon as I heard the growl, I wanted to cast Speak with Animals.
Okay. That's kind of interesting. I guess, like, you don't have to know what kind of animal it is to speak with animals yet. You kind of just, it's like an auto translate, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say that you have to see the animal or know what it is.
All right, that works for me. Do you think?
We are just looking for some shelter. We are not here to attack you.
If this is true,
What is true?
Huh?
Oh no, you can continue. Sorry.
Then don't come any closer. If you try to attack my cubs, it will be your end.
We will go back closer to the entrance and stay near there, far enough in the cave to where we're out of the elements, but not any closer than, obviously, this.
If you don't keep your word, I'll kill you all.
Thank you for your kindness. And then I'm going to speak to the group. There is something back there, and it has cubs, and if we go any further into the cave than this, I wouldn't even take one more step. It will attack us. But if we just take shelter in the cave and go back closer to the entrance, it will not bother us.
Vale nods and just bamfs Isla away for a moment and just starts backing away.
Isn't nature beautiful? Character jokes.
Sometimes.
When you can talk to it, it's sometimes a little easier.
That is a very nice skill.
Picked it up during my travels.
I'd very much like to hear these stories.
Maybe one day. And just kind of head back to where we were originally. Now, when Mac does this, Mac actually turns around and starts walking back. Like, he actually trusts the creature enough to turn around and have his back towards it as he's walking back toward the front. I don't know if anyone else takes that as a sign. They can do with it as they will, but
Yeah, I think Vale would put his back to a wall as he's backing up just to make sure everybody is leaving, and he would just be the last one. But he would, once everybody was leaving, he would follow suit.
Yeah, Melly will definitely follow. Not think twice about putting her back to the creature.
Same.
Same. So, you all make it back to the front of the cave, where you started off. I don't think you actually got a fire going yet. I know you had talked about it, but very quickly after you went in the cave, Isla peeped in and saw the things.
Yeah, is Carrick starting to do that? I feel like, or because I think him and Mac were talking about the fire, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they were. So, sure, Carrick will.
Once he looks like he has the fire set and he's getting ready to strike a tinderbox, Vale just snaps his fingers and the thing lights on fire. And he just looks at him and winks.
He looks back and says, "Well, aren't you full of surprises?"
I need to keep you on your toes, brother. Someone needs to.
You may try.
And at that point, he just looks at. Vale takes a moment to look at what everybody is doing. He's just standing there. You know, his equipment is still on his back and all that stuff, but he hasn't. He put his bag down, but he hasn't started setting up to rest.
Melly will have set to work with cooking or preparing a little meal for everybody to eat. She's got a little bit of cooking utensils in her pack and stuff. So
What kind of meal are you preparing?
depends on what kind of ration. We've said that we had rations, but we didn't specify. So
Well, what would Melly like to have?
I guess like we probably would have picked something up while we were in the town. I'm guessing they eat llama because they were really big llamas.
The goats, the giant
Goats. Sorry, yes, giant goats. I imagine there's some goat meat, like dried or preserved with like salt. Probably some goat cheese, goat milk, very goat centered meal.
Okay, very nice. So you have so Melly prepares some sort of goat meal. Then what is everybody else working on while Melly's getting some food cooked?
Mac is just a little close to the fire. Not like, insanely close, like where it's dangerous, but closer than you would normally say. just kind of like, just kind of leaning forward towards it, with his arms kind of crossed, just kind of like trying to keep some heat in just a little bit. Just looks like he's contemplating life.
Yeah, Kyric's kind of right there with you. Where like if you tried to make conversation with him or like make eye contact with him, he would give you like a whimsical like little like grin kind of thing, like everything's all right. But if you're paying attention to him, he's not comfortable.
I think Echo's tending to the fire, trying to keep it going, or if it's not, providing enough heat, if it's not getting big enough, just, blowing at the base a little bit, get some of those embers kicking up. Just doing what he can to help it go. Yeah.
So Vale would help Melly with this scene. I think Vale would go over and help Melly cook, especially since with prestidigitation, he can help flavor, warm things, kind of following whatever direction or thoughts that she may have with that. And keeping it kind of simple throughout dinner. But once everybody's okay with fast forwarding through dinner, once that's done and things seem for the most part put away and cleaned up and everybody's ready to rest, would Vale feel like there's a place to have a private conversation somewhere, like maybe closer to the mouth of the cave?
Sure, yeah, you could either go closer to the mouth of the cave or closer to like the little like swervy turvy.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna go there.
As long as you don't go past the point of no return.
Right. Mel just kind of wanders over to Melly and says, "Melly, if you have a moment, may I have a word with you?"
Of course.
So Vale would probably go closer to the mouth of the cave. Maybe you hear the wind. Maybe, yeah. And just waits for her to get over there and just kind of like leans up against the side of the cave and just like looks at Melly for a moment. I feel like his arms are crossed. Melly, I feel like I noticed something this morning when we were discussing the frost giants.
What was that?
Have you been blindly just going with whatever Max says?
No. Just I've noticed that in previous situations when a decision needed to be made, a lot of times Mac didn't necessarily agree with everyone else. And then in the end, he ended up being the one who was right. And it's not that I don't trust everyone else's judgment, but I feel like he has a lot of wisdom, and I trust him and his thoughts and opinions, and I don't want him to just be overruled because there's an itch that we all want to scratch.
Vale was definitely like studying you as you spoke. Like he nodded, he listened, kind of cocks his head to the side a little bit. So if I'm understanding you, it's not as if you necessarily agree with him, you just think there's a really good chance that what he's saying is a good idea.
Not that I agree or don't agree with him, it's that, I mean, yes, I do think what he has to say, and a lot of times his ideas are very good. And I don't know if I have the experience to know what the best choice is. So I don't know. I think that a lot of times his wisdom is overlooked.
El nods. He definitely has a lot of experience. I don't overlook anything any of you say. I hope you don't feel like I'm doing that.
No, I'm not quite sure what the best way is to explain it. It's just, I feel like anytime we've walked into something and Mac has said, this is a bad idea, it has been a very bad idea.
Can you give me an example?
In Malaysmere, at the church.
Val looks very confused now. What do you mean?
He did not want to go in.
If I remember correctly, it was going there that was able to fix his hand when it was turned to stone.
That's true. But
That's not really the point of why I was saying this. I just was curious. I'll say this. I believe I have a decent enough read on Mac to know that he would want an authentic relationship with all of us more than to just be blindly agreed with.
I'm not just blindly agreeing with him. If I really did not think something was a good idea and it was going to put any of us in danger, I would not agree with it.
Because I know all of us value what you see and what you think tremendously. I know I do. I was just thinking about it all day, and he tended to stay closer to Echo. Not that that's abnormal, but I'm sure he's just giving me my space right now. But I just also wonder a little bit about everything with the ring, and I can speak from experience that it's usually better to be the one to discuss a secret with someone you care about than to have something fester or have a chance to be played with and twisted into something that's not accurate. Feel free to tell me. I can stick my nose somewhere else, of course, but
No, I understand why you're bringing it up.
I just think he's typically a bit of an angry person, and those wolves are running away. If we're about to go fight a dragon, it's best to be as clear-headed as possible. Vale forces like a smile, kind of shrugs.
You think that I should speak with him about it then?
I think that's up to you. I just think I know your intentions were nothing but pure. I mean, you're Melly.
Well, I
But I'll just say
certainly.
this. I don't think he tends to see situations the way we all do, and I don't think he likes to discuss his feelings very much either. So, I don't know. I wanted to make sure that you weren't hiding some part of your own insight, and you know, whatever goal you may have with making sure Mac feels heard, and that's a good thing. I just want you to not discount yourself in the middle of all that, because he would desire an authentic relationship with all of us. I
Know
think that
that.
much I know.
And every time that I've supported things that he said, it hasn't been disingenuous. So,
It
I
seemed a
just.
bit odd because I couldn't remember the last time it seemed like you disagreed with him, and frankly, I cannot think of two people that are more different than each other.
Well, a whole lot of us are quite different from each other.
That's true. Uh,
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if I should speak with him about it because I would worry that he would think that I was agreeing with him just for the wrong reasons. Kind of like you were thinking.
he may not even be thinking anything of it. There was just something about the cadence in which he spoke this morning that just seemed. I don't know exactly. I can't put my finger on it. It just seemed like there was a little more there than. Like it was automatic somehow. I don't know. The only thing I would think you should discuss with him potentially is you being able to raise the dead and not sharing that information with the group. That's what I think. potentially maybe rubbing him the wrong way.
I'm not even sure how I would broach the subject. I feel awful that I didn't tell everyone right away.
Well. Your desire was to protect us and protect your friends. I understand that quite well, actually.
I guess part of it is also just trusting that even though the group can put their faith in me to assist in protecting them, that they also will protect themselves. And it was foolish of me to not do that.
Interesting to think that way, because sometimes if you know the consequences of a risk may not be quite as dire, sometimes being more risky can have great benefits. So it's one of those things that whatever it is, as long as it comes from a good place in your heart, I think that's what matters most. Not everyone may understand, but I just think potentially he maybe hurt. That's really, I don't know. He seemed to be avoiding you and me. Me, I think it makes sense right now, but I don't know. I just wanted to mention it.
Well, I do appreciate it. I would like to speak with him about it because I don't want there to be anything weird or odd between any of us before we're about to go into this huge battle. I want everyone to know that I'm going to do my best to protect each and every one of them.
I don't think anyone would ever have any doubt about that. Just do me one favor.
Hmm?
This may seem a bit counterintuitive to you. Just realize that protecting yourself is the most important thing you can do in protecting all of us. Last time I checked, I can't bind wounds or cure diseases or even raise the dead. I know for a fact Mac would back me up on that.
Oh,
Basically, we can never lose you.
I don't intend on being lost.
All right. I think Vale goes in for a side hug.
Melly will side hug him back.
Yeah. Cold out here.
It is, but it's so beautiful.
It's something I've always enjoyed about being in the graying wildlands. Probably
Yeah,
pretty different from where you're from.
Yeah, it's mostly sunshine and beaches, so green trees when you're inland.
I hope we all get to see it someday.
Well, I'm going to be certain to drag each of you there, so.
See this big family of yours we keep hearing about.
We might not visit directly with them. They're a loud bunch.
So exactly like my family is what you're saying. Very, very talkative. very open with their feelings.
They're something of the sort.
Well, if we do manage to slay this dragon and figure out what's going on, I would be very curious to see what you saw in your vision with the music box. How it's all linked, related somehow. But first things first, I suppose.
So I suppose we should focus on the task at hand.
Agreed. I think if it seemed like there was not much else to say. Perhaps we should go back.
I'm gonna stand here just for a moment.
Right.
And I know
Seems
it's
to be
bitter
alone.
cold, but just for a moment. I'm enjoying the view.
All right. And then Vale will just head back to where everybody else is.
What does everyone do? So, I mean, I could tell you how Carrick acts. Because, like, you couldn't hear what they're talking about, but, you know, the two of them walked away and had their conversation, like, aside from everyone else. And Carrick's in Big Brother mode, so he's got a smirk, and he's giving Vale the eyes, and he's like, everything all right, brother?
Yes, I think everything's fine. I just needed to talk to Melly about something.
While
I mean-
they were gone, Mac actually goes to bed.
All right. Is Echo still up?
Yeah, Echo's up. I think the moment that they start to walk away, he would probably look over at Mac, expecting a look from Mac, I think. But it sounds like Mac probably just completely just goes off and does his own thing, I would assume.
He notices they go away and waits like a solid minute to not make it obvious as to that's why he's walking away.
Yeah, I think then if would Mac have met Echo's look? Like he would just literally just turn his head for like a second just to like look at Mac when they go.
Um,
I'm just interested to see how like distracted Mac
so-
is, because he is all like messed up from the cold and everything too.
It depends on where you're sitting, and I know that may sound dumb, but if you were in the path from like looking to see that they were walking off in the direction that they were walking off, and then back to the fire, if you were in that path, he would have like glanced at you, and if you were looking his way, eyes would have met, you know, kind of a thing. But if you were over here and, you know, going back to the fire, he wasn't specifically looking for you or looking for anyone else.
No, that's fair. I mean, I don't really know. I don't know like where everybody is relative to each other. I just know that Echo's kind of like next to the fire and is like kind of just like prodding it, you know, like found a bit of a branch and is just like watching the embers kind of float around.
would we like to go with what Jake just said and chat and let the fate decide there?
It's kind of
Roll
funny
a
because this is a lot.
17,
This is
so I would say that I met his eyes.
Okay, I was
That I did.
This is so inconsequential. It was literally just like, oh, I just want to see if this
He
happens. No, like, so yeah. I mean, I would just say Echo. You know, like, he's like, hey, you know, Melly, can I talk to you for a second? And you know, they walk away, and Echo would probably just turn to Mac and just kind of be like shrug shoulder, but with like that's kind of weird, right? Like, but without making it too like it's not like he's upset about it. Just sort of like, weird. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I kind of just give you a, you know, like, you know, kind of like a look back.
And then very shortly thereafter, turns in.
Goes to bed.
Yeah.
You can tell he goes to bed because he puts his sleeping cap on. That's when you know Mac's actually going to sleep and not just like resting.
It's like they look at each other, Echo blinks, and by the time the blink is finished, Mac's got his cap on, like you don't even know where it came from.
Like, where does he even keep that? They've never actually seen it off of his head. Like it's either just there or nowhere.
Oh man.
Oh man, I love that.
Would Carrick have made a? You mentioned he goes into Big Brother mode and does the smirk. Does he make like a show of that as they're walking away?
As they're walking away, no, but when they're walking back, that's when he would have made a show of it.
Okay, no, that's fair.
They're walking away, he kind of just takes notes.
Mhm.
Takes note of it.
All right.
And he did not notice your exchange.
It was nothing. That's why I feel bad that it went on for so long. It's like, this is nothing. It's just he's gonna make a gym face, you know.
Just look directly at the camera.
Look at the camera with
Yeah,
the
office.
exactly. But besides that, I think Echo's just gonna like not even. You can tell at a certain point he stopped trying to like tend to the fire and he's just more playing with it, just like, you know, poking at it. It doesn't need it. He's just maybe trying to almost in like a meditative way, like a Zen kind of way, like taking care of like raking a Zen garden. He's just like moving things into patterns.
Yeah.
I think Carrick will just say, you know what they say about playing with fire? And like he'll give you like a smirk of like a.
You really are his brother. But he'll say that without turning to look at him. He's still just poking at the fire.
Is that such a bad thing?
Might depend on how similar you two are, I suppose. But, no.
And this is while Val and Melly are talking.
Yeah, this is while
Okay.
Val and Melly are talking. Carrick will kind of just like think on that for a second, and just he wants to ask so many questions. I think that's very interesting. He'll kind of like, I mean, he's already like right up on the fire, and he's just, even when he said that to you and like kind of joked with you, he was watching as you're you know, like messing with the fire and everything, and he'll just say, so you're a student of the Knowing Mentor?
Oh, yes.
How did you come to Utherden?
Well,
Or better question, the Graying Wildlands, I suppose.
well, it's as your brother said. And that's it. He's not going to elaborate on that. For a specific reason.
Is my brother a good man? And he's looking, right? He stopped looking at the fire and he's like looking right at you. And he is very serious.
Yeah, I'll say for Echo's like perception of the world, and this is like again inconsequential, but I think it's just the flavor that popped into my head is just for him.
Mm-hmm.
The only sounds that exist right now are his voice and the crackling, like the crackling of the fire. So like the wind, like the breathing of the animal deeper in the cave, even like the echo of everything through the cave is all gone. It's just all he's hearing are these two things. Yes. Yes, your brother's a good man. He's brave. He's strong. And he's selfless. Probably to a fault. And as he's saying to a fault, he would look right at his eyes.
Yeah, and he's looking right at you, and he just kind of nods his head. Good.
He's also stubborn, and he'll turn and just start flipping the stuff again.
He'll kind of laugh to that and say, well, I suppose we can't be perfect, but thank you, Echo.
From the time I've gotten to spend with you as well, I see a lot of him in you. Or, I guess, I see a lot of you in him. Maybe both. You didn't have to do what you did for us. And I know we may not have made the best... And I think he'll catch himself and then start to talk a little quieter, with Mac being only a few feet away. I know we may not have made the best show of it, but we really do appreciate what you've done.
I made a promise to you. I said that I would get you to Bicestia. And I would get you there fast. I may not be able to deliver on the first part, but if I make a promise, I do everything I can to keep it. And as far as the impressions and everything, what's done is done, and there's nothing we can do to change it, so there's no use dwelling on the past. The only way is forward. But thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Carrick.
You're welcome, Echo. And Carrick actually kind of, I feel like if there's another stick nearby, he'll end up kind of joining you and kind of in a different spot, not in the same spot in the fire that you're messing with, but he kind of like starts doing what you're doing until he notices that Vale is on his way back, and that's when he gets out of serious mode and gets back into big mother mode, and it's like, you know.
I'll say, before they come back, in that time that they're both just poking at the fire, I'm trying to think of the specific way to word this. And it's up to you whether Carrick has enough time to answer this, like, if it's at the point that they're coming back, or whatever the case. Maybe he doesn't get to answer it, he just gets to think about it. But I think the way he's going to word this is... I wish I had, like, come up with this earlier, written it down or something, but... If you had a friend who was thirsty, and you had a vessel of water, would you pour all of your water into their glass? Or would you be sure to keep some for yourself, so that you did not also thirst?
I would pour as much water as they needed. And I hope that there would be enough for the both of us.
I think at the first half of that answer, Echo would smile a bit. But then as he continued to explain that, and say, hope there was enough left for the both of us, I think his expression would switch to more like, okay, that's what I thought. And then, thank you.
Why do you ask?
You are his brother.
Oof. At that point, I feel
Hi,
like
guys.
Yeah. So, is that everything okay? And you said, yeah, everything's fine, like something along those lines.
Yeah, like I just wanted to talk to Melly for a minute.
Yeah. Melly's still off, doing her thing.
Yeah, she's not gonna stand there for too long, but she's just like looking out into the storm, contemplating life, the universe.
All right. Does the conversation just kind of die when Vale comes back?
Vel would probably just find a spot around the fire, somewhat like equidistant, almost like I imagine, almost like a little bit of a triangle now around it. Just sitting there looking at you guys.
Yeah, I'll say Echo would continue as though they weren't even talking. Like that this is all they were doing. Not like trying to hide anything, like, you know, like shut up, don't talk, but just...
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably rest. I could take the
Take first watch. Brother, I think you're a little cold right now. Get some sleep. Not that we need it. He just kind of chuckles.
Kinda smirks to himself. Thank you, brother. Wake me whenever you're ready.
I will.
He'll kind of go off and do his thing. And,
At that point, Vale would actually just look over his shoulder at the mouth of the cave and summon Isla to just stand next to Melly. Just kind of like nestle in and just to spend time with her.
Melly will put Isla like inside her hood so she can like cozy up to like her cheek.
So, as kind of you've kind of been noticing, I'd say Melly specifically because you're so close to the. You're not as sheltered as everyone else right now with your position. The wind is still there, but like it's starting to. Everything's starting to like calm and just die down a little bit. And if you stay there long enough for there to be like visibility, you start to notice like these greenish like wisps, and like it almost looked like a shaft or like curtains of like colored light in the sky, and it's just like there's these waves of green and purples and colors that are just like lighting up the night sky as the storm is passed.
Is it an aurora borealis?
That's exactly what it is.
Oh, so cool. When Melly starts to see that, she'll look over at the fire. Is everyone who's at that point who's sleeping and who's awake?
Mac is sleeping and Carrick is doing his thing.
So
I don't know what Echo did when Carrick said he was going to rest.
He's just gonna keep. He's probably gonna regret this. It's very reminiscent of when Vale was first learning magic, and like Vale was kind of supposed to be keeping watch, but was taking the time to learn how to do his magic and was like very excited about it. And you saw that Echo was like kind of like leaning on his staff and should have been asleep probably like 2 hours ago. That's kind of what he looks like, but a little bit more. I don't know what the emotion is, but he's still like literally doing the same thing, except now he's sitting down. He was kind of like on his toes, just kneeled down and like prodding, but now he's just sitting in front of the fire and just mindlessly just poking, prodding. But you can see, if you look closely, you'd see the bags under his eyes a little bit. He's got his specs off, tucked into his into the top of his shirt.
All right, well, I guess if everyone else is resting and Echo looks super tired, like he's about to fall asleep, Melly won't. She's not gonna bother anybody. She'll go over and just lay down and go to sleep.
I think as she's laying down without like moving much, without turning his head to like look, he would just say, "Good night, Melly."
Good night, Echo. Thank you for tending to the fire.
My pleasure.
Does Echo look like he's trying not to sleep?
I don't know if
Because Vale's keeping watch, and he's not like doing anything other than mundane, whatever. Like he's not excited or anything.
Can I ask you to make a check for that? He's not being deceitful. I just want to see if you would pick up what this is.
Yeah, you want me to insight or perception?
I don't know,
It's
DM.
insight, right?
I feel like it's not my place to make that call.
Yeah.
I guess perception if it was me, because he's
Either
not
both or
hiding
+4.
anything. This is literally just to.
Yes,
It doesn't matter.
just roll then.
Yeah. This is 22. More than 18.
You get the feeling that he can't. Like
Mm.
he just
This works out well.
probably got too many things going on in his brain.
He'll just kind of stands up, stretches, and walks over next to Echo and sits down.
He actually looks up and does kind of a half, like a sleepy smile. And then we'll just look back, but he's not poking at the embers anymore. He's just looking at it.
Can't sleep.
No.
This wouldn't happen to have anything to do with that burden you mentioned, would it?
Somewhat, I suppose.
If there's anything I can do to help, please tell me.
I don't know. I really don't. But I will.
All right.
It's just you asked for it.
Yeah, goes. I've asked for lots of things in my time, Echo. Could you be a little more specific?
Your bow. The one that Owen made.
Suppose I did. What do you mean?
And I think Echo will have he's sleepy, so he didn't necessarily mean to... He didn't intend to talk about this, and I think that's clear by, maybe a sudden shift and, have maybe, a bit of a realization, I probably shouldn't have said anything. But... Did you see Owen after he finished making those?
Yes. Why do you ask?
And it didn't bother you?
Gosh, is there any form of, reevaluative memory thing Vale should do, or should he just...
Yeah, why don't you roll? Because at the time you were definitely preoccupied with this super cool thing that you just got.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'd say reflecting back, I mean, what do you think? What kind of role do you think that would be? I almost want to say
Intelligence is usually memory, but this feels more emotional and observant, so...
Yeah, I almost want to say investigation with... It's a weird investigation perception thing.
Investigation's +3 with perception's +4. Just... What do you want?
Why don't you roll investigation with your wisdom modifier?
Okay. Natural 1. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Ooh. Oof.
What do you mean?
You didn't see.
He looks dumbfounded. Trying to. but dumbfounded.
Weirdly, that makes him feel better. Like you kind of see a little, like, he's surprised that was the answer that you gave. Do you remember what Owen said about the weapons he makes?
I want to keep asking about making checks.
I think if you didn't, if Vale didn't answer after like a couple seconds, like maybe looked like he was really thinking about it, because it
Vale
seems
is-
like he's
yeah,
very
he's-
confused.
Yeah, Vale is like looking off to the side, like trying to recall everything he can about Owen. If you're trying to get at something specific, Echo, but I don't think I'm following.
I'm sorry. I don't know how much of this... Well, I spoke with him. And when he creates these weapons, it takes a toll on him. Not just because of, like he said, he wants to make sure that the person using it is someone who will use it right, who will use it for the right reasons. And if I remember correctly, you said you wanted to use it to protect, which is noble. It also took a physical toll on him, as though the creation of it, or he poured time into it. A piece of his own soul.
Oh. And so your staff.
He didn't. You asked for it. This man gave me a piece of himself. And I didn't have a choice.
Wow. Quite the gesture, isn't it?
It's a lot. I've never felt so much responsibility. And that's insane. And he'll just, like, gesture over toward, if the bag of holding is out, he would just kind of, like, big wide-eyed, like, nudge his head in that direction.
What do you feel responsible for?
I just need to make sure that I use this thing for the right reasons, and that I am not literally letting his soul down.
You just hear Val like kind of just puts his hand on his forehead a little bit.
Is he actually laughing?
Slightly. He says I don't mean to be.
Echo looks pretty offended as you start doing that. Like,
he puts his hand up like, I realize that probably it's just so hard for me to imagine you ever doing something to not be worthy or noble or I guess the fact that you're worried about it so much says all you really need to know. Echo. I think if there's anyone here that needs to worry about that sort of thing, it's me. Not you.
Well, it's kind of the other part of it. I'm mad that Owen did that. And it's not exactly dissimilar to what you did. You're emptying you're emptying your water vessel to make sure that we can drink.
Of course I am.
And if it
I'll
kills
just-
you,
And I know it was not in vain.
his expression goes completely just, I would say,
Like,
a
that's
mix
backwards.
of anger and disappointment. At that. Right.
I've done a lot of things in my life that I'm not exactly proud of. And if I lay my life down for someone like you, or Melly, the world is a much better place because of it. We need lights like you in our lives. It's just the way it is. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty a little bit. But the two of you are there to keep us on the straight and narrow. You're the guiding light in this group. Surely you see that.
We're also here, and he'll reach off to the side and grab the staff and hold it up and say, to protect each other.
I'm not exactly planning on pouring out all my water. He kind of smiles and laughs a little bit.
What's his name?
Spooky? Are we talking about Spooky?
Carrick.
And with him saying spooky, you mean spooky? He'll look at you with like, you see what I'm talking about?
Because actually, the only thing I've seen come out of that is us still being alive today. We're not trapped and hidden underneath some forever rock, starving to death or running from monsters. I'm better able to protect myself and you. I'm not saying that this is not going to come to a head at some point. But with everything we had going on, I thought, number one, we don't need another enemy.
How do you know he's
Right.
not?
I'm almost positive he is, Echo. But I don't need to call that out immediately and draw his attention and ire. I think it's pretty clear he's more powerful than us. Maybe someday that won't be the case.
We can hope. for what it's worth. Sorry. I'm
Oh, sorry.
I know you're trying. You're doing a lot of... You are keeping us safe. Just worried about you, dummy.
I love you too.
His aggression softens immediately at that. And he just lowers his shoulders a little bit and smiles. Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to try to get some sleep.
That's a good idea.
Good night, friend.
Good night. And Vale just gets up and heads over a little closer to the mouth of the cave just to get a better vantage point and takes first watch. I believe you are muted, my friend.
With that, let's take a quick little break. If anybody has any questions about anything that's that has happened so far, is happening currently, or may happen during the future, let us know. Or, you know, if there's something going on in your game, we'll be happy to help if we can. So just throw those questions in chat, and when we come back, our players may or may not be, but definitely will be, one level stronger. So we'll be right back, everybody. All right. Sounds like we're ready.
We're good.
Okay. Jake, why don't you have Vale roll a perception test check.
12.
12?
Mhm.
And why don't you also roll a d4 for me?
2.
3, you said?
Oh, I'm sorry. A 2.
A 2, okay. And let's... Ooh. Ooh.
Is this something Isla should be rolling as well?
What's Isla doing?
I'm just helping him keep watch.
I
But we
mean,
can hear him.
a 12 is fine for, like, you're going to see about what I'm about to explain.
Okay.
And it's literally just off in the distance. It looks like you see something moving through the colors in the sky. Something big.
Like far away?
Far away. And yeah, well, I mean, sure, why don't you have Isla roll
Okay.
perception?
13. So much better.
So much better.
Does it look familiar? Like we saw this thing when we were approaching Uthadern?
I really need to have Evan teach me voice mod.
Give us a class, I'll do it too.
Oh no. Hold, please hold. I accidentally shut down everything on my...
How embarrassing.
You know when like you make the wrong move in Windows and then suddenly like all of your windows just like pop down and you're like, oh great, I don't have
when you move the mouse like a little bit.
Yep.
Like, "Ah, come on, man. Why is that a thing?
I don't know. I'm sure I could turn it off, and it would probably take me 30 seconds to do that. But
Yep. Right there with you if it makes you feel any better.
thanks. I'm glad. Yeah. So just off into the distance, you see with your elf eyes and Isla's owl eyes, a very large white dragon just kind of shooting across the sky, heading further north.
Not near us and not heading towards us.
Not near you. It's far. It's far away, but not heading towards you though. It's heading further away. Far away in the sense that it's like high up in the sky, not like, you know, it's still kind of like in line with you
Mhm.
at the beginning at least, but it just continues to travel north.
Yeah, Val is like, okay. Just watches it as long as he can. I don't think not gonna do anything to draw attention.
Sure. Yeah.
Really tries to take note of the direction though.
Yeah, it's like it's just gone pretty much true north,
Okay.
and you see along with the greens and the purples, and like almost the shadow of the dragon, you see this like bluish white just color or force just kind of like shoot forth, boom forth from it, and almost break through the colors in the sky as it just continues traveling.
Val's
And it does
eyes.
that.
All right, so that's. We're gonna kill you, he says.
It turns around. No, I'm just kidding.
Apparently now, everybody. I'm just kidding.
So yeah, it continues on, and you just kind of watch it until it disappears out of view.
How close would it be to, say, Carrick's watch?
It's probably been like 2 hours, something like that. So
Yeah, he'd let him get a little more sleep. Okay.
yeah, and aside from that, the rest of your watch goes undisturbed.
Once it feels like it's appropriate, he'll wake up Carrick.
Okay.
Says, so I saw it.
So what?
The dragon.
He raises an eyebrow.
Says, I'll show you where. It's flying north. He just points it out in the sky when he gets to the mouth of the cave. From what I can tell, about due north.
Well, hopefully it's not too far. And hopefully the Force Giants will be able to help us.
Agreed.
Well, get your rest, brother.
Says,
Take
I will
watch.
keep you company.
Perfect. And he looks to you as you're walking back, and he just kind of says, "You know, I try not to eavesdrop, but spooky."
Yes. Spooky. Let's just say I made a new friend.
Oh, goats.
Not without his benefits, though. It's
Do I want
he just
to know?
swirls his hand around and shows an image of their mother. Swirls it again. Father. Vidania.
Just kind of he just kind of like cocks his head back a little bit, and he's like, "That is a very, very nice trick, brother. I hope it didn't come at too steep a cost."
That's yet to be determined. He looks at him with his some wide eyes.
He just kind of shakes his head. I think that's it. He just kind of shakes his head and says, "Get some rest, brother. Take care of
Eric.
yourself."
One day I'll tell you everything. I promise.
Whatever you say.
Just laughs and says, usually it's whatever you say, and I think you know that.
You know that's not what I meant, but
Yes, I do. And he turns and goes back to the fire.
yeah, so Carrick will take watch and really, I mean, with Trance, the two of them can take the entire night. You know, nobody else needs to be bothered. So by the time you wake up, it is morning, and it's like, what's the word? I mean, it's just like, it's really, really bright.
Oh, yes, where the sun hits the snow and it's like snowblind.
Yes, it's, I think albedo might be the word, where it's like basically snow is like the most reflective thing out there. So it's like there's just it's just very, very bright, where the light reflecting off the snow, and there's a lot of it. It looks well, if you actually take the time to look outside the cave, it looks like it's going to be pretty deep and pretty difficult to navigate, more so than on your way to the cave. Not that the weather's bad, just that, like, you have like probably a solid 3 feet of snow.
Okay. I don't suppose Carrick, you're good with nature things. Is this something you can like fix snow, right?
I could fix snow.
Yes, this is no trouble, right? You've got this.
Brother, I'm not sure I know what you mean.
Well,
I know a few tricks. If you are wondering if I could help us travel through this terrain. I don't know that I could fix snow, though.
I guess it's just going to be very slow going. Or do we have to wait this out?
We'll be able to go, as long as everyone is ready. Is everyone rested?
I'm ready.
Oh, good. If anyone is paying attention to Vale much at all, Vale is at like he's standing over at the doorway to or the corridor where as it ran deeper into the cave, and you see him kind of like quizzically looking down it.
Like where you found the beast?
The growl, yeah.
Yeah. Are you
Rubs
also
his eyes.
wondering what that was?
Does it seem lighter? I mean, I know it's daytime, but he rubs his eyes again. It's odd.
Typically it is lighter in the daytime, brother.
I mean, in the corridor. That just wanders into the dark a little bit. Not like. Doesn't seem like he's going far. I was just like, this is incredible. And he comes back. Huh. It's as if I know how to see in the dark now.
Okay. Now I see what you were doing. Could you not always see in the dark?
I do it better now.
I'll bet you do. Well,
You see, just Mac is just like squinting, like towards the back of the cave, like she's trying to see if it's any lighter back there. like what? Okay.
Because I don't exactly know how to explain it. I just feel like I know how to do it better than I used to.
Well, that might come in handy if the lair is dark.
Yes, I would think so.
You still see me like squinting back there again to see if I can see any better.
Carrick will kind of like, as you're doing that, Carrick kind of walks up behind you and he goes like
The veil?
to Mac.
Yeah.
He'll just say, "Did you know what sort of creature that was?"
I did not ask. It did mention that it had cubs, which I think is why it was protective of us going further back.
Go
Thank
to
you,
love
Mac.
nature.
Indeed.
Well, I'm going to scout ahead briefly. Whenever you have everything ready and breakfast and whatever you need, we'll get going. meet back in 10 minutes here?
Oh, I'll send Isla with you. She's good company.
Happy to have her. Then Carrick pops out and does his thing. Leaving you alone. Does anything happen when you're alone? or you all just kind of wake up?
Melly will. She has kind of been trying to put effort into like making meals for everyone. So
Mhm.
she is trying to make some sort of breakfast meal with the goat supplies that she has.
Very nice.
Goat supplies.
Like, you
my
know, you
favorite
take
band.
like the same. You have like the same 3 ingredients, but you use like different like spices or something to make it a different meal each time.
It's like tacos and burritos and stuff. Yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
same 4 things. You just sort of arrange it differently.
Oh, that makes me think of a Jim Gaffigan joke. Like, well, what's a burrito? Oh, well, it's a tortilla, meat, cheese, lettuce. Well, it's a taco. Tortilla, cheese, meat, lettuce.
Rex.
Alright. So it sounds like we're doing breakfast essentially.
The only other thing is if Melly has an opportunity to talk with Mac, but she's not gonna like pull him aside and be like, "Oh, Mac, can I talk to you?" But like if he's like wanders like off to check something out by himself, she's just gonna wander casually in the same direction as him.
Mac, do you think, or Michael, do you think Mac would have wandered casually somewhere by himself?
I feel like with the cave and whatnot that he honestly would not wander off.
I mean, like,
Casually or
far.
non-casually so.
I feel like the only way I see that happening is like Mac standing like 10 feet away from the mouth of the cave, like peeing off the side of the mountain. Yeah, so if that does not happen, then Carrick will return after about 10 minutes or so. And I say, well, if you're all ready, we should get a move on.
Let's do it.
Just a word of advice, or call it a request, whatever. Whichever way I can word this to make it be heard the most. Please do not offend these frost giants if and when we speak to them. And he makes eye contact with all of you as he says that, and stops at Mac and makes about like 2 seconds longer of eye contact. And
Mac holds his gaze.
Could
he kind of
you,
just like,
I've never interacted with such creatures. What would be something that would be offensive?
Frost giants are very proud, they're very worried about their strength and their standing. So, questioning their power or their strength would be a surefire way to cause trouble. I'm not an expert on their culture, but that would be the most obvious, I suppose. Everything else, just try not to cause trouble. All right.
That sounds like good advice to me.
Let's get going.
So, you'll see that he also comes back with these, like, they look like tennis rackets for your feet, and he's fashioned some snowshoes for you. They're not pretty, but it'll help us get through. And
So you do know how to fix snow.
I wouldn't say I know how to fix snow per se, but I did tell you I knew a couple tricks.
Looks good
Anyways.
for me. He just starts trying to put him on his boots.
And yeah, I mean, he'll just kind of start walking out and lead the way as you continue up north with a natural 20 on his survival check. Also, just in rules explanation, I guess, for viewers at home, and then also a reminder for Michael if you didn't do this already. A long rest removes the level of exhaustion. So Mac and Carrick can both remove their exhaustion and continue to make ability checks without disadvantage.
Yay!
Yay. So they continue on, and first stretch of the journey is pretty good. I mean, there's the occasional like moment where you hit a drift and you like one of the halflings just kind of like, you know, and goes under a little bit, but you're helped up and you're actually making surprisingly good time. Like you would think that the you would think that the snow would slow you down a lot, especially because of how difficult the terrain is, so to speak. But Carrick does his best to just build you all up and help everyone keep moving at a reasonable pace. This is his speciality. But as you as you continue on, everybody make a perception check.
That's a 25.
21.
11 for Isla, 19 for Vale.
19 for Melly.
Look at you. Who's better than you?
Pretty good.
So all of you, except for Isla, all of you, kind of notice like, off to the side, like there's some red, in the snow, and as you look a little bit further, you see like this massive like club thing kind of sticking out of the ground, and as you like look around further, you realize that you're looking at the remains of an ogre that has just been ripped apart by something, and there's just red all over the snow. There's just blood soaked into the snow, and what's left of this ogre is frozen solid.
And this is the direction that the dragon had headed.
This is the direction that the dragon had headed.
Vale just looks at Carrick.
Carrick says to Vale, "And what do you think did this?"
I think this is the work of our quarry. While everyone was sleeping, I saw him flying in this direction. Apparently he stopped for a midnight snack.
Well, everyone be extra careful. This won't happen to us.
I think Vale just kind of unconsciously just like knocks on the ice briefly, just like a little,
Mm-hmm. It's solid.
yeah.
So you kind of continue on, and as you keep moving forward, you get to like this part where you've been traveling kind of like on a mountainside, and like this whole time, right? Some areas more open than others. Some are a little more climby, if you will. But you get to this kind of like it's like there's these two peaks, and the middle almost looks like a gateway that you could walk through. And Carrick is probably like 50 or 60 feet ahead of you all, and he's just looking at the ground and kind of like studying it, and see him like stick his ear to the ground as well. He looks back at you all, and says, well, I think we'll find the frost giants this way. Very close.
Have you ever requested an audience with them before?
Well, I've never formally, but I have spoke to them before.
Do you speak their language?
I do.
Oh. Well, that should come quite in handy.
Even up this far north, most of them speak some common. But usually gives you a little bit more respect if you at least speak the language. So hopefully it will help. Are we ready?
Really, we're just asking to see if they're willing to join us. We tell them this is what we're doing if they want to help. Is that right? And he just looks at everybody else and makes sure we're on the same page.
Back nods.
All right.
All right.
We're as ready as we'll ever be.
So we're just letting them in on our plan. Asking for assistance.
Vale looks like everybody in this group has seen this look on Vale's face before. He's in the middle of concocting a plan. And he's almost like amused with himself.
As Vale does this, Carrick looks to Echo. I mean, he kind of looks to everyone, but he like has a focus on Echo, and he's just like, "Does he do this often?"
Yes. Just wait.
I think it's all in how you don't say what you're planning and then just, hey, would you like to come along? It's more like going to kill this dragon and it will be glorious. Do you wish to partake in the glory? It's all in how you present the information. Almost, in a way, almost like a challenge.
So we're offering them the opportunity to join us for this glory or race for it.
That is a thought. That looks at the rest of the group.
Well, our goal is to kill a dragon. Didn't necessarily mean that we have to be the only ones doing it. And the idea of making it feel like it was their idea seems very clever.
Would
All right.
prefer if they tagged along as opposed to racing to do it themselves, but if that's the only way that would get them to go for it, or if you think that would be the best way to get them to go for it.
We at all worried about them being aggressive towards us?
Always a possibility.
I think the better word might be that we should just be prepared for it.
Well, if that's the case that we want to be prepared, there's a couple of spells that I think I might start using daily. Some of them I recently learned. And they last quite a long time, so it might be useful to just get them out of the way in the morning, but if you all think it would be worth it, I could right now do aid. And then also I recently learned this ability called Death Ward, where I'm able to protect someone even if they were to go down. It would bring you back up to just enough to possibly get out of the way.
And this will last all day?
About 8 hours.
Oh. Well, I think you should put that on you, seeing how you're the one who could make sure everyone is okay.
Well, I have something else that is able to protect me. It also lasts 8 hours. But I just want to make sure that before I use them, it is worth it, in everyone's opinion.
Well, from the little I've seen, I would say that I don't think that they're going to attack us. Even if they don't want to help us, just from the impact on the land that we've seen coming up here, I can't see that they would want to impede us from trying to rid the land of the dragon that's here currently.
Okay.
But it also has never hurt to be prepared.
So then, for the time being, I will use aid, and I'll use the spell that will protect myself. Alright, so Melly's gonna cast aid. She's gonna do it at 3rd level. I think she only gets 3 people? Yes, 3 creatures. So that's gonna be Echo, Vale, and Mac. And then she's gonna use mage armor on herself.
Okay, so how does that work? Is it plus 10 at
Yes.
level 3?
Yep.
Yeah.
And those are actual, like, true hit points for 8 hours. So
Our
if
max
Very nice.
is higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who did you use them on?
Echo, Vale, and Mac.
Very nice.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, Melly.
I feel like it makes sense to just do that before anything's even happened, because you'll have it for the next 8 hours, and that'll be that.
Yes, it was a very sensible precaution. Shall we proceed?
Let's see what they have to say.
So, what you start traveling into is kind of like a ravine, and as you continue on through it, you see that like there are these like paintings on the wall, like etchings on the wall, and it's like one you see is of this massive giant, like it's big among other giants, and it's kind of like it looks like it's depicting like this massive thing with its back turned on 6 giants, but really compared to the other one they look very small, and those 6 giants would be there's one that looks like a storm giant, one that looks like a cloud giant, fire giant. There's a frost giant that looks like particularly strong out of the bunch of them. Stone giants and hill giants. And as you continue on, there's like all kind of like different different like carvings and like almost like cave paintings and like stories that are trying to be told, and they're actually they're kind of good, like better than you'd expect for a culture that's mainly built on like strength and killing and pillaging. But as you continue through, you see probably about like we'll call it like 200 yards down. It's like it's almost like a castle of ice, with this massive gate in the front, and it's just a fortress of ice and stone built into the mountainside. And at this point, you could see that it's actually covered by, whether it's stone or ice, on top of it. It's like cornered in there, and while this kind of was like a ravine where there was, there's very much like a perch up top on either side the entire way you were going down. Once you get to that actual giant fortress, you could tell that it's completely like cornered in there, where there's nothing could come from behind it, nothing could come from on top of it. The only way to like attack it, I mean, pretty much all of you have like a tactical mindset for your characters at this point. You've seen a lot of combat, we'll say. If someone was to attack it, the only way would be from the front. And make a perception check, everyone.
22 for Vale.
22 for Mech.
Natural 20 for 23 for Isla.
11.
7.
Okay. So Melly, I feel like you're probably a little bit more focused on like the structure and everything. But Vale and Mac, you notice you notice that almost blending into the fortress of ice, you see these two massive creatures with skin of like it's like a white with like a bluish hue, and they almost look like they're made of ice itself. And you recognize these two creatures to be frost giants, seemingly guarding the gate.
I think Vale would be more towards the rear right now. You just go, oh, okay. Hold on.
Carrick will turn to you and say, well, no turning back now, brother.
Not at all.
Shall we?
Let's do this.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, so everybody continues walking forward, and once you get, we'll say within like 50 to 60 feet from them, they start to, like, they were kind of like relaxed, and as they see you continuing towards them, they kind of straighten up a bit, and there's just massive creatures, and they take a few steps forward, and each step there's just this booming, echoing, just like their steps just sound like thunder as they echo off the walls of this ravine. And at this point, I guess Kyrick will just say, "Hello there," and kind of look at you, Vale, and one of the giants, huh?
Val would just nod like, yeah, do it. Go for it.
One of the giants will just respond with, "We're first there." And we'll pick up from there next week, because it's 9:54.
But you're gonna say, meaning we'll pick up from there next week.
Wait, the giant said we'll pick up next week?
Where for
The giant breaks the fourth wall.
Where for Thursday?
Oh, man.
On next Sunday.
Yeah, we will see you on next Sunday. That was fun. There's a lot of party stuff happening right now, and I know I've been saying, like, that's been the case for the past couple of weeks, but I love it. I love to see it.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Yeah, it's always fun. So if this is your first time here, hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed yourself. You can catch up on past episodes. We have a playlist on our YouTube channel, starting from the immersion from the river, from the Underdark, and continuing on to where we're at now. If you want to catch up on even further back episodes, go over to Spotify, go over to all the places where you listen to podcasts, and it'll be there under Rare Drop Roleplay. And obviously, we are the Ancient Relics and Hokey Religions show. You could find us and all the things that we do just by doing Command J&J in chat. That'll take you to youtube.com/J&J Tabletop, also twitch.tv/J&J Tabletop. And, well, if you want to hang out with us and talk throughout the week, follow us on Twitter Machine and check out the Discord, because we love to talk and do all the things in Discord. So, everybody, be kind to each other, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Have a great night.